It may seem strange, but even the smallest shift in the way that a person walks or their stride can really affect the emotional and visual content of a street photograph. I'd like to explain how in this short video tutorial. Okay, so let's begin with this first photo. And I'm going to show you the second photo here as well. And the second photo has the person in sort of a still situation. Although we do know that he is in motion, he's just sort of mid-stride. But in this picture, we have a visual representation of a stride. So this person is moving forward, he has a destiny, he's moving in a certain direction. But just because of the fact that he's a silhouette, he may be slouching a little bit, we probably would place or force upon this picture some notion of a negative emotion. It could be sadness, loss, sorrow, regret, but at least he's moving forward. But in this picture, when we're talking about the emotional content of an image, which is very important, especially in street photography, the person could actually be standing still and wondering, where do I go? Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go back? Or should I just push forward? Now, whenever we're dealing with street photography, emotion and metaphor are very important. It's really critical that we have some form of narrative in our pictures. So if we take a look back at this shot, at least the person is moving forward. This is a sign that there is a little bit of hope. And in this shot, we actually don't know. So that's why we can actually pull two different narratives from pretty much the exact same picture with only could be 1 second difference between the two, because I was using rapid fire, also known as burst mode or sports mode. So in your camera, and this applies to phones as well, we're able to take many shots rapidly, one after the other. And this is actually quite useful whenever you're in a situation where you see people walking and you want to get different emotional content from your street photos, because a lot of the times the story or the narrative comes from the way that people are walking. It's their stride. So keep that in mind. It's really important that we always are aware of the stride. Again, use the burst mode in order to get a few different options, and you can actually pick the one that you want based on the emotional content or the emotional narrative that you're wanting to convey to your viewer. Okay, so and just for fun, here's another shot. And whenever I have the opportunity to photograph in a really cool location, I try to sort of eke out or maximize my photo session time by just, waiting for other people to enter the frame. And I really love the fact that all these businessmen are silhouetted, they're moving in a straight direction. And you see the real difference between this photo and this photo. Yes, it's true that the composition is slightly different because I would have widened my lens a bit, but this is a very lonely image, whereas this one, the businessmen are very directional, they know where they're going. Even though they're silhouettes, at least they have a very clear path from A to B. Okay, let's go to this one. Pretty much the same thing. And here's the last one. Again, we have the same scene, just a different location for each of the men as they walk to work. And you could even say to yourself, and I do this all the time, how in the world would I choose which one I like out of these three? Well, it's entirely based on emotion. For example, maybe I like this one better because each man is in his own world. In this one, these two could be buddies. Maybe they're having a good time joking around. And in this one, the buddies are still walking together. So if I'm looking for a sense of alienation, of loneliness, of alone, then I would probably choose this picture. But it's not that I'm always looking for negativity in photography. That's certainly not the case. But I'm always looking for a narrative. So if this is the image with the strongest emotion, then this is the image that I will portray. Okay? So I hope that helped. And let's just back up to the original shot. And yeah, so whenever you're doing street photography, always look for silhouettes. That's the first thing. So the light is coming from behind. This is especially helpful for people who are still not really comfortable with street photography. Second is use rapid fire or burst mode if you want to have a selection of people in mid-stride. Okay, next, last point, Try to get as many variations of the same scene as possible so you can load up on images to fill your collection, because who knows, you may need a shot like this in the future. Okay, and finally, a little plug for my Japan photo tour. We go to these places in Tokyo to get great street and travel photography. And of course, in Nagano, we go to the snow monkeys, we go to the mountains. In Kyoto, we look for geisha, and of course, the brilliant history of Kyoto. So I invite you to come with me to Japan every winter, and we have an amazing time. Check out japanphototour.com. Okay, hope to see you there, and I'll see you in the next video.